clock.
I know I'm gonna echo somewhere.
Oops. There we go. Let's fix this. How's everybody doing today? We're gonna do some writing, but I did not plan this as a normal person would.
I
Planned it as an idiot
actually
would.
muted all the things. I did it. I did
There
good.
we go.
I did good.
I think I got it.
Awesome.
Okay. And now my phone's going off. Is my phone going off telling me Dana's streaming? Probably. Yep.
Probably.
That was what it was. Okay, cool.
All
Everything's
right.
working. It's
Four.
working. It's working. Hooray.
I'm like
How's everybody doing?
4 weeks, but I think we're starting to get it.
Right?
Yeah.
To be fair, we didn't used to have two of us streaming at once
That's true. That's true.
on two different platforms, and
And
we're
but
doing
I
a lot.
do, yeah, I do like this.
Yeah,
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 I like
yeah.
that
It's
we
just we're
can do
doing
this.
we're doing more than we usually used to do. So
Yeah, we get a bigger reach.
yeah,
So should probably introduce ourselves for people who are
yeah.
like,
You're better at that part than I am. Go for
who
it,
are these crazy people on a
idiots.
Saturday morning? Hello, my name is Dana Collin. I write spicy stuff under my pen name Ava Fox. Ta-da! I am currently waiting on a paperback link for the anthology that I'm a part of that's coming out on the 14th. Super excited. Um, I'm also getting ready to publish my website, which I got a sneak peek of, and it's really super sexy. So there's a lot of cool,
Awesome,
I know, there's a lot of really cool things going on right now.
awesome, awesome. And I'm Sarah Sharnover. I mostly write horror, and I do all kinds of things all over the internet. I'm on YouTube and on Twitch, but I'm only streaming on Twitch, so hooray. Um, yeah, so I did not open the stream today by getting a giant splinter in my foot that I later had to cut open with a razor.
Yeah,
And that is pretty awesome.
I know. How did that come out? Like, I mean, obviously it came
I
out
had
because you,
I had to do surgery on it, yeah.
right? Did it heal pretty well?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I wouldn't have done that if I had diabetes or something, but I don't. So
right, right.
I just
Yeah,
did it.
yeah.
And then I just kept it wrapped. And it's like the flat part of my foot.
Okay,
So I kept it wrapped, and as long as I kept it wrapped and walked gently, it wasn't bad.
right.
And
So
it
it was,
never was a problem after I got the rest of the splinter out.
okay. So it's like in the ball of your foot, not the heel of your foot.
It's on the flat part of the heel.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So but I cut it and then I put peroxide on it, and the
Yeah.
peroxide swelled the wood. So then I could just pull the wood out.
Okay. Okay. That's a
Because
good,
wood is porous, so
right.
it swelled up enough that it made it poke out, and then
Yeah.
I could just grab it.
Yeah. I would have never even thought about.
I honestly wasn't thinking of that. I was peroxiding it to make sure that I wasn't introducing bacteria.
Right.
So I cut and then peroxide and then cut and then peroxide until I could find the wood. And the
Yeah.
peroxide just got to the wood and puffed it up, and I was like, oh well, problem solved.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Speaking of peroxide, I have an acquaintance that I've been fighting off this sinus cold thing, and the acquaintance that I have was like, "Oh, you should totally gargle with peroxide." And I was like, "Excuse me?" And he was telling me that he gargled with peroxide, and like he's like, "Yeah, all of a sudden like all this nasty gunk came out of the back of my throat." And I'm like, "Yeah, that's called your skin." Like, what? But apparently, there are lots of people out there who are gargling. Like when they have strep throat and stuff, they gargle with peroxide. I wouldn't recommend it. I'm not a doctor, but
Right.
I've heard people do like lots of crazy things with peroxide, like clean their ears out with
I
it.
have to
I'm
clean
like,
my ears with peroxide because you
yeah,
can't put things in my ears. My ears are too small,
yeah,
which is why I don't wear earbuds.
right.
Um, so sometimes the only way, like if I get sinus pressure and stuff, the
Uh-huh.
only way to get it is you have to put liquid in and have it. It's essentially like neti potting my ears, really.
Oh,
It like
wow.
forces the liquid out
Yeah.
because it bubbles underneath it.
Oh, and then hearing all those bubbles like
Oh, and
up
it
close
just
and
makes it
personal.
itch. Well,
Oh,
it's in there. It itches down like down in here.
yeah. Oh my
Yeah.
goodness. Yeah. No, I couldn't do that. Like
Yeah,
just
it gives me the
having
shivers. It's wild.
yeah, just having this little bit of sinus thing like was clogging my ears and making them itch and everything. And I thought I was gonna lose my mind. I was like, so having like bubbly, like that bubble sound. Like I've heard stories of people when they get bugs in their ears and like they can hear the legs on their little hairs and stuff. I'm like,
Yeah, no, but I also because I'm allergic to latex, if you
"Hmm,
paint in my area, I will get swelling in my ear canals. That
oh,
swelling translates to fluid in my ears,
right.
which causes an infection. So if I don't do that, I get more infections.
Oh, that's crazy.
Yeah, it's wild. It's the only thing we could come up with. I mean, obviously, you can't, there's not a whole lot of trial and error to test that, but that's the only thing we could come up with because my infections started getting really bad when they
Uh,
started doing constant upkeep at the nursing home. So they were painting every
mm,
day.
oh,
And I couldn't get it to stop, and they couldn't
right.
figure out why. And we put together that that was probably what it was.
Yeah. Oh, s- speaking of constant upkeep, so remember I was complaining about how I kept having like this patch of,
Yeah.
well, yesterday when I went to the dermatologist, he looked at it and he asked me what I've been using on my skin. And I told him, I said, well, I started using this stuff I picked up at a local store, um, Awesome Max, that's what we'll call it. And it has like it's like a retinol
Hmm.
stuff for your face. And I didn't think anything of it, but I don't really pay attention. I just kind of wipe it on everything.
Right.
And he said that because it's like isolated to this one area, he's pretty sure that the retinol stuff that I'm using is actually causing irritation. He said, never put retinol on your lips because it is not lip friendly, which I didn't
Hmm.
know that. And then he told me, he was like, you have excellent skin. Don't use retinol. It's like, oh, okay, thanks. But yeah, like I would have never in a million years because I thought it was my lipstick, my lip stain, my like all
Right.
the things. Turns out,
Hmm.
I need to stop trying to
Don't fix what
do.
ain't broken.
Yeah, essentially is what he's saying. He's like, so now I'm putting hydrocortisone on it so that it'll heal up really like, and then he said that once it's healed up, so in 3 weeks I go back and he's gonna take a look at it, and if it's healed up, he's like, then you can start trying your lipsticks again, and as long as I'm not using the retinol and then I put the lipstick on and it doesn't come back, then we know what the answer was.
Yeah.
Mhm. Let me tell you, they are specialists for a reason.
Right. Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
they do a lot of school to be a specialist, so
Yeah.
usually they're pretty good.
Yeah.
It's just a pain in the ass to get into one.
Oh, I know. No, actually, well, I mean, the community that I live in, there's only one in the community. But so I thought it was going to be really hard to get in to see a dermatologist. And I think I'm going to say it was like 2 weeks, 2 or 3 weeks
Oh
wait.
wow.
Yeah, so it's not that big of for the area that I'm in, it's not that big, but this is not a very big area.
Yeah.
It's like the size of a suburb. That's why I love it so much.
What are
So,
you working on today?
so today for my since so I have been posting a lot of short stories to I guess you could say like a third party website. Um, And I've decided that I'm still going to post occasionally to that website, but I'm pulling all of my things off of that website. And I'm actually going to post those short stories in like PDF form on a members only section on my website. And then after people read my stories and stuff, there'll be like a donation button at the bottom if you want to. And then that way, instead of you pay X amount of dollars and I get like a nickel, for however much they're paying for, they can just give me a little donation. And yeah, so I'm pulling all those off because I don't know, I don't know. Like I've been kind of thinking about like all of the all of the money that these other websites they charge a membership fee. And like you have to have X amount of followers, you have to have X amount of read time. And now
Right.
it's like, oh,
Ugh.
well, if you don't have until you have accumulated $10 worth of read time, you don't get paid until you get that. And I'm like, well, that's silly because if somebody decides that they want to gift me a $5 coffee, they should be able to just donate right there. Bloop. There we go. I like this story. So I guess I'm trying to like be more, I hate using the word controlling over my work. Um, but I do. I basically I'm trying to get everything over to my website so that I'm more in direct contact with my readers and what they decide they want to do and what they want to gift me. So that's what I'm working on this weekend.
Do
And
you have a date for your website yet?
I I want to say
No
I
pressure if you don't. I just wondered.
I do. I just don't remember what it is. I know I wanted. I know, right? I know. Well, I know we just met up on Thursday, and I was talking about it might even be like because the anthology comes out on the 14th, and I that is my absolute. I want my website up and running by the 14th so that I can actually like promote it and say, go to my website and all this other stuff. So it'll definitely be up and running by the 14th. If it's up and running earlier than that, I will make sure everybody knows.
Surprise!
But that's
I'm
just
still
how I
working on
am.
the same thing I've been working on. I don't know
Yeah.
what the hell it is, but I'm working on it.
Yeah. Yeah. When
Yeah.
I've decided like I've got a couple of projects that I've been working on for years now. Um, and I was like, you know what? It's time. I need to actually get this out into the world. And so yeah. So it's a lot. I'm doing a lot of different things. I'm not working on any new projects at the moment just because like
You have too much else to do?
yeah, and I haven't really I think I'm really excited to see like how people respond to the stories that are in this anthology. And so I'm just kind of like I'm really focused on that. And I'm like, yeah. Yeah.
Awesome.
So
All right. Well, let's do a 20-minute sprint
all right.
and get rolling and we'll check back with everybody in 20 and
Absolutely.
go. There we go. That is time. That's
I
the one
like,
that's called Ooh La La, but it doesn't sound French. It sounds Italian.
yeah, I like that one. I like
Oh,
that one.
I got 3:01 and Travis woke up and I panicked because he started talking. There were like 3 minutes left.
You were like, I have 3 minutes, so you better wrap this up.
But I went and got him coffee, so it was in the fridge, so I didn't tell him where his coffee was.
Right on. I I have actually located, let's see, one, two, three, four, five different short stories that I thought I published.
Oh,
I thought I published. Turns out that I never did hit the publish button.
well, surprise, unpublished works.
Right, right. But then I was also wondering, like, what, because I do genuinely um consider your opinion to be good. That doesn't even sound right. The
I
words
don't
that
know why you would.
I know, I'm just like the words that come out of my mouth are not as good as the words that come out of my brain, okay, or my
Nope.
fingertips.
Yep. Nope. My fingers talk better than my mouth does.
Yeah. But like what's your thoughts as far as me like pulling this and then just publishing it on my own personal website and stuff? Like, do you think I should even bother like new stuff here, not so new stuff there? You know what I'm saying? Like, what's your thought process on it?
It's a bad idea to have a little bit of work in multiple places, but I do think that it's a good idea to have a central place. And I also think it's a good idea for you to be getting most of the money out of what you do. Like as much as like we do art because we love art, we also like to like feed our families and stuff.
Yeah.
And I don't think that's unreasonable.
Yeah.
So I think that I think the website's a good idea. I don't know personally the logistics of routing people to a website for reading.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, I don't know how that works. It
Yeah.
seems to me that having a story here or there that could link to it would probably be your best bet
Yeah.
because I don't think your website, statistically, this is not a dig. Statistically, I don't think your website's going to end up at the top of the Google search list for erotica reading.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know what I mean?
Especially, yeah.
Like, because there's so much.
Yeah. Especially at the very beginning.
Right, right, yeah. Like
Yeah.
today, Ava Fox does not have that kind of following.
Right, right. And that's one of the ideas I've been playing with is that like when I do post something to because I have more than I think I have like 700 followers. And so I was thinking about like posting something that says, "Hey, if you still want to follow me, you could come over here and see some more of my stuff." Just so that it at least gives them a link to get to where they need to be to see it. So
Yeah.
yeah. But I see that Morgan Lee has joined us over
Yeah,
on
and
the
Carrie is in my chat. So hello to
right
both of you.
on.
And
Hello.
Carrie said fingers talk better than my mouth is a whole mood. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
yes it is. Yes it
yeah,
is.
holy shit.
Yep. I'm doing well. I'm doing well. I a lot there has been a lot of changes and change is good and I've come to the conclusion that the only constant in life is change and I've embraced it and I am thriving in it and so yeah, so
Mhm.
life is good.
Good, good. That's good.
Yeah. Yeah, I definitely am I want to have more I definitely want to get more compensation for my art directly. You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
Yeah.
Yeah. And especially with this whole and they're not the only ones that are doing that where you have to have a minimum amount before they'll do
No, no, that's
yeah.
how it is on a lot of the companies that pay out, and that's probably because of the fees.
Yeah. Yeah.
On Twitch it's $50. I don't know what it is on YouTube. It used to be 100, but it used to be 100 on Twitch too, so that may have changed at the same basic time.
Yeah.
But yeah, like they do that because switching money digitally, that comes with fees and shit. So they don't want to be putting out 48 cents and paying 40 cents for it.
Right. Right. And that does make sense. That does.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
But it's frustrating.
It really is. And so I'm hoping that I found an alternative to that.
Yeah. Yeah, because there's 100,000 people who have 68 cents or something sitting in their account that the company keeps.
Yeah.
Like, that's still a thing.
Yeah. Yeah. And then they get to collect interest on all of those little cents. And even though it sounds like it's not a big deal, it does.
Right. When you're talking about all of these people, it adds up.
Yeah. Yes, it really does.
It's like when you go to the dollar store and then you get to the checkout and you're like, how would I spend that much?
Yeah.
Everything's $1. And they're like, yeah, but you bought 400 things.
Right. Yeah, but now it's the $1.25 store.
Yeah. I don't go to stores.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't blame you. Like I think
against
that
it.
if I had I mean I don't have a choice. I do have to go to one specific store very regularly.
Please stop yelling. Please. Sorry.
Is it me or the
No,
cat?
it's Lore.
Lore. Okay.
He stands on top of the cat tree and yells.
Okay, because I was like, am I just being louder than I normally am?
No, he stands up there and goes,
right on.
And it's just high enough that it gets in past my headphones. Like, it's very annoying. I don't know.
Yeah.
I think my noise gate probably kills it for you guys. You guys probably don't hear it, but it's very annoying on this end of the. And now he's staring at me.
Oh yeah, because he knows what you're talking about him. He's like, huh, a mission accomplished.
He's learned that he can stand on Vera.
Oh.
And it cuts out of the imitating sounds too. That's so funny. Yeah, he figured out he can stand on Vera. He figured out he can walk across the curtains.
Oh wow.
Yeah, he's a lot.
So far, the only one that's like challenging the whole like curtains and climbing and stuff is Yuga, but he has gotten, I don't know if it's possible that I gave him my cold.
Yes, it is possible.
Oh, okay. All right. So now I just feel even worse, but I think that I definitely gave him my cold.
Yeah, not all like colds and stomach flus can pass back and forth, but some of them can. So it is possible that's that. And if you think that's what happened, that probably is.
Well, yeah, because he didn't start getting all sneezy and sniffly until I started getting sneezy and sniffly, and he likes to sleep like right up in my face.
Yeah.
He has zero personal space boundaries unless he doesn't want you in his personal space, and then he's like, back off.
Yeah, they're like that sometimes.
Yeah, but he's got this like, it's a very high pitched like
sorry. I went to open your window and accidentally unmuted it.
Oh.
To open the YouTube window and make sure that it was still running. Lord Almighty.
Did you hear that?
Mm-mm.
Oh, well, that's Yuga's little sneeze, and it is kind of like I'll be sleeping, and all of a sudden it sounds like there's a little mouse sneezing, and I'm like, holy cow!
If you don't stop, sir.
He's like, what? If I don't stop, what? What are you gonna do? You're gonna whip me?
No, Dad's gonna give him his medicine.
Oh.
He doesn't like the medicine.
If you don't stop, we are
going. It's medicine or don't poop. Those are his choices. He's trying to rip Vera apart.
It's like
we're gonna have to take Vera down because he is just fucking ruining her.
Yeah. It's like you have two choices: stop being a jerk, or we're going to make you healthy and prolong your life so that we can torment you every day.
And the thing is that had he been in another house, he might be dead. Had he been in the wild, he'd definitely be dead.
Yeah.
I know you don't like it, but you're not dead because of it.
Right.
And then
Eh,
he runs, like Travis gives him his medicine, and he runs back and forth through the house to run off the bad taste.
Oh, well,
He does not believe that eating something afterwards will help, even though I've tried to explain to him that I bet it would,
yeah.
but he's not
Yeah.
having that.
Or just drinking something out of the fountain. Have a little sip of water.
Nope.
It'll
Nope,
go
not
a long
Lore.
ways. Yeah.
Not Lore, you're not the boss of him.
No, nobody is. Nobody is. He's like, I think not.
Yeah, he's a butthole.
Absolutely.
Ah, run. He runs back and forth and then he runs to the litter box. I think it must hit pretty fast.
Oh, that's good though. That's
Yeah.
good. It's like me and Burger King. It's like,
Yeah, it's like twice a day though. Twice a day we do this.
oh no.
He runs back and forth through the house and then runs to the litter box. And then
Yeah.
sometimes he digs a hole through the earth to the other side and then comes back out. It just depends
Mm,
on the day. Other days it's in and out.
yeah.
But there have been streams where luckily I have the noise gate on because it's like
Yeah.
I went in there one day. We've got okay, so we have two covered litter boxes. In the middle is an open litter box.
Uh-huh.
And because they prefer the open one,
Right.
whatever. They'll use the covered ones, but they prefer the open. One day I went in there. He's in the covered one, reaching over into the open one, scratching at the lid. I'm like, dude, that's not going to cover anything up. You're not in the same box.
Right.
Like, what are you doing?
Yeah, I have seen Yuga like do some real weird stuff like that. Like he'll be in one box and he's like reaching over to the next box and I'm
Yeah.
like, or like one cat will go over and leave like a real stinky dump and then he'll go over and try to like he'll
Oh,
stand on
Zug used to cover up Mr. Crowley's poops.
yeah, he's like, I
Yeah.
can't handle this
She used to
stench.
go in after him and clean up the litter box.
Yeah,
Yeah,
cats are funny.
they are weirdos. Bunch of weirdos.
They really are.
I have hit a roadblock in my story and I'm mad about it.
Oh no.
It's not a story roadblock. It's a where do I like I'm in blank space and I need to
Uh-huh.
figure out where I pick up after the blank space.
Oh.
You see what I'm saying? Like it's a page break.
Right, right, right.
So I just need to figure out where I pick back up after the page break.
Yeah.
I don't have the answer to that riddle right now.
I had the other last week I had mentioned that I had like drawn a picture to make sure that like everything was making sense and whatnot. And I had somebody who read um my my anthology, my Cupid anthology story, and they were like, "Yeah, I really like the story." And so like a sneak peek. There's a genie. It's not a big secret because it's kind of obvious from the beginning, but there's a genie. So there's magic. I mean, it's a story about Cupid and like, you know, mythological characters and stuff. So this person takes it upon themselves to be like, um, the last time I was in a public bathroom, the stalls weren't very wide. And I'm like, okay, so the shape shifting, gender switching genie doesn't bother you, but the width of the bathroom stall is what's holding you up.
Well, and I'll tell you, I work in an office building. We have a bathroom stall.
Yeah.
There are 3 different places in that stall I could fuck, and then there are at least 5 different places in the rest of the bathroom I could.
Right.
My
And
stall,
then,
my window stall has the toilet,
uh,
which you can sit on, has the back of the toilet, which you can sit on, has a
yeah,
windowsill, which you can sit on, and then there's 4 fucking walls.
right.
Also, what setting do they think glory holes are in?
Right.
Predominantly bathroom stalls. Like, what are you talking about? That is a
And
very weird critique.
that's what I thought. That's what I thought.
Also, some people are bendier than other people. Let's be real.
Right.
I'm not putting my legs over my head, but there are bitches who can. And
Yeah.
congratulations to them and to their partners.
Right. Right.
They
Right.
exist though. Those are real people.
They're right, exactly. And that's kind of where I was like, when I got this like this
That's aside from the the gods part of the story.
right,
Like that's
right.
just humans. That's just
Yeah.
real life humans.
So and that's why I was kind of baffled by the feedback. I was like, hold on, wait a minute. So like Cupid's male in my story, and he wakes up and he has his own boobs.
You know,
And and
it
you're
kind of
okay with
reminds me
that.
of that scene in Clue
Uh-huh.
when they look at the picture and she's like, nobody can do that. And he's like, oh, sure you can. Let me show you. Like that's what that reminds me of. Like nobody can get that position. And he's like, no,
Right?
yeah, they can. Yeah, they can.
Yeah.
Let me give you a view.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm like,
Like
okay.
you might not be familiar with the position. That does not mean it doesn't exist.
Right, right. And not all public bathrooms are created equally. So,
No, no.
and I don't know about the last time you were in an enchanted bathroom, but
Well, in the last, like, I used to go to a bar in one of the bathrooms. One of the stalls was huge.
yeah,
It was the handicap stall, but it was
yeah,
huge.
yeah.
And that was just like a bar in a city. So like those are two different places that I have been to that I am aware of that are already outside of that area of expertise this person had. Also, what are they doing in their life that they have this bathroom stall aficionado thing going on? Like,
I, I don't ask
it
questions.
seems
I just
strange.
when I read comments or I get feedback that I'm just like, huh? Really? Like the fact that there are like, you know, childlike winged little things flying around smoking cigars doesn't bother you, but the square footage of a public
Right.
stall. But and I'm surprised I didn't put in there, oh yeah, and there's some urinals. I don't think I did. I'm surprised I didn't like, yeah, you forgot that but no. It makes me and then like there's a part of me where I'm like, gosh, I wonder like what kind of other strange critiques do other writers.
Oh, I'm sure it's a wild world.
I know we could probably start like a whole like forum of weird things readers have said.
I don't want to write anything.
Yeah, we don't have to. We
I
can
don't want to
talk.
write anything. I'm done
We
writing.
I'm like we can
Oh,
talk about writerly stuff.
I don't know. I only have 300 words. I probably should write more, but I'm just
Yeah.
wake up.
You're
I've
like,
already driven in a car and shit. I'm fucking tired though.
yeah, that's all right. I drove in a car, watched a crappy movie, which yeah,
What movie did you watch?
blink twice.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah. And then here's the thing, like, what's that hot guy's name that in Magic Mike? Like, oh,
Oh, Channing Tatum.
yeah, yeah. So he's like the main male
Hmm.
character in this movie, and he's not even hot. Like, I mean, he's attractive. I mean, like, they don't even show any kind of like, I don't know. He's not even creepy. He's just like, it's just, I don't know. It's so weird. And then like the ending, it was, I don't know. I don't know. I kept if they because they were like, "Oh, you might like this movie. It's a psychological thriller." And I was like, "Yeah, I haven't seen a good psychological thriller in a while. Let's check this out." And really, I was like, "Where the hell's the psychological part of it?" And the sad part is there's a lot of good actors in it. Like the kid
Yeah, it
from
was
this.
directed by Lenny Kravitz and Lisa Bonet's daughter.
Oh, I wish I could remember her name.
I can't think. Zoe Kravitz.
Okay.
Also,
Yeah.
Lisa Bonet Ain't No Basil is a palindrome.
What?
It's a palindrome. It's the same forward as backwards. I'll write it in here. I'll write it in your chat. Hold on.
Okay. Yeah. So there
It's the same
was.
forwards as backwards. I
Oh,
wrote it
okay.
all as one word so that you can see easier.
Lisa Bonet. Eight, no basil. Oh my goodness, that's really cool.
Hmm.
Where did you find that at?
It's in a Weird Al song full of palindromes.
Oh,
Also, go hang a salami. I'm a lasagna hog. Is a palindrome. Um,
I don't think I've heard that Weird Al song.
it's called Bob. It's a parody predominantly of I can't think of the name of the song, the one where he does the cue cards of the lyrics. It was like a big deal because it was the first time that like Bob Dylan was showing that um you can make a video showcasing the lyrics and have it be useful, basically. Um,
Oh,
but yeah, it's a parody of a Bob Dylan song.
right on.
I thought there was something on my David Lynch poster, but it's part of the David Lynch poster. That
Oh,
tracks.
so yeah, so it did. It had a lot of really good potential. Um, it just didn't hit. It just didn't hit. And then the ending was it fell flat. It
Yeah.
like yeah. Yeah. And I think it's a shame because you can see the potential and you're just kind of like if they would have just gone deeper into like certain aspects of it, it would have hit differently. So so yeah. And have you seen any movies or read anything interesting lately?
I watched a Star Trek movie I refuse to talk about publicly. Um,
Okay.
it's the new Star Trek movie. Everybody hated it. I have arguments about it. I didn't hate it, but it's like
Oh,
it's
okay.
very divisive. And then what else have I watched lately? Nothing really. Like I've been watching a lot of YouTube. I've been watching John Wolfe has a series where he reads Goosebumps books and watches the shows as an adult
All right
and like
on.
reassesses them basically as an adult. And he
Yeah.
rates them based on like how scary they are, how funny they are, and like the twist.
Yeah.
So it's a fun series. It's not, I mean, it's not terribly in depth. And I'm not a huge fan of book reviews, but this is different because it's kind of like a fun
Right.
nostalgic thing, which
Yeah.
does work for me, but book reviews just for me as a
Yeah.
general rule.
I did go and watch last week after we got done. I did go and watch
Trapped in an Island with Josh Hutcherson.
no, I
Oh,
started watching Troll. Yeah.
oh,
Yeah. I started watching Troll and then the other one.
trigger warning.
Yeah, yeah, because I had seen the Troll one before. I had not seen her trigger warning one. But like usually I like how she can be very sarcastic and
Mhm.
she makes these bad books fun. Um Trigger warning that I don't necessarily think there was anything she could have done that would have made it um you know what I'm saying?
No, it is. I mean, it is. When you try to novelize your propaganda, it
Yeah,
doesn't translate.
right.
This isn't someone who believes things and wrote a book with those themes. It is a person who tried to novelize what they believed.
Yes. Yes.
So it didn't work
Right.
because it wasn't like I'm a person who believes these things and it's going to come out in the story. It was like I'm going to hit you over the head with the stuff I believe.
Yeah.
And that
Yeah.
does not that doesn't work for the people who already believe it, let
Right.
alone the people who don't.
Hmm.
Like you're not going to change anyone's mind. The only mind change you might do is you might flip someone to the other side.
Yeah. And like
Hi.
like there were a couple of times where I had to rewind the video and listen to what was being said again
Uh-huh.
because I was like,
No, that's not what they said. That's
yeah, right?
ridiculous.
Yeah, I was like, no, she misread that. Or maybe they forgot to put a comma in there, or what the hell? And it did. It got to the point where I was like, okay. And whoever wrote this is the reason why, like, people hate people and like they're yeah. I'm like,
Yeah.
this is so problematic, but
Yes. Yes. It's just like it's just not okay.
yeah. Because even coming from me, I don't necessarily know. I mean, I know that some people would probably put me more in a conservative
You
lane
are
than
vastly more conservative than I am, but I am a
right,
card carrying socialist, so
right, right.
that's a little weighted strangely.
Yeah, yeah. But even I was like, this is this is a little bit too much,
Yeah.
because even though I like to say that I'm right there in the middle and occasionally I go this way and occasionally I go that way, whoever wrote this story is the reason why people hate they are the reason why when you say the word Christian, everybody's like, oh, that's evil. It's like, oh my,
It's the typical believes what you're told
yeah,
without doing any research
yeah,
American population.
yeah,
And a large portion of the American population is Christian. So a
yeah,
lot of times that is Christian in nature. But like
yeah,
that's if we were in a different country, it would come from a different place.
yeah,
And to be
yeah.
real, one of our other options is Scientologists. So I'd rather have the Christians
Yeah. Yeah, thank you. I'm
because
glad
those
that
people are terrifying.
I'm glad that if you had to choose between a Scientologist and me, you'd pick me.
At least I can buy your book and read it.
Right? Exactly.
That's all I'm saying. I have a Book of
Oh,
Mormon.
mm,
I can trust the Mormons. I can read the Book of Mormon.
yeah.
I know what you're up to.
So Minnie Monster's been doing some genealogy and
Uh-huh.
she's known her entire life, like the story of my family. So like my great grandmother was born and raised Mormon. She fell in love with my great grandfather, who I want to say was Methodist. Um, and I could be wrong, but uh, it was one of those not Mormon religions. And so her father was like, "Well, if you marry this man, you'll be disowned and all this other stuff." So they eloped, and she married him, and they were married for eternity. Um, but because of that experience, like she left the church, and she didn't only leave the church, she made it like so difficult for us to find like any
Well,
remnants.
that might not have been her though, because the Mormon Church also, at least at one point in time, I don't know if they still do, but at one point in time, they did participate in that cutting off kind of stuff.
Right, right, right.
So,
And she
like, it
was
might
like,
have been two-sided or one-sided. Like, it might not have
yeah,
been her necessarily,
yeah,
because their idea is once you leave, then you have to jump through all their hoops to be a person again.
right. And no, it was definitely he initiated it, but she once it was all said and done, she had no desire whatsoever. And so Minnie Monster's been doing this like genealogy, and like she keeps finding all these records and stuff, and she's like, Mom, um, did you know that the like majority of half of our family at one point in time was like real Mormon? And I was like, yeah, and I've told you this. Like, but that there was a story behind it, and then we broke off, and it doesn't exist anymore. I mean, no,
You're not like related to Joseph Smith though, or something, right?
no, no, no,
Okay, so
no, no,
you're not like starting the Mormons.
no,
Like,
no, no, no,
okay,
no,
well, that's a
no.
different level.
Yeah,
That's different
yeah,
level than early in the religion
right.
to be
Like,
part of the like we're his third wife's 15th
yeah,
kid or something.
No, 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 no. And it was I mean it was right there in the like whole like Missouri, Illinois.
Oh, so like the stop off before they went to Utah.
Yeah, yeah.
Why do I know
So
so much about the Mormon
I
movement
know,
across the
right?
country? It's
And
South Park. It's South Park.
it's South Park. That's totally what
They
it
told
is.
me about the trip, really. Oh, well,
Yeah,
and the Book of Mormon.
yeah.
And yeah.
So she's very fascinated about how like I think what she's really fascinated about is how like these different religions have shaped our family. And so they went from this one extremist thing to now there's so many different, like, my family is broken out into so many different, like, veins of,
Yeah.
and so she's like, and then she's like, Mom, and you should see some of these names that they were naming their children. And I'm like, oh, I'm sure.
Old timey names were not what we make them out to be.
Yeah, no, not at all. Not at
No,
all.
like
Like
they really aren't.
I had never heard, so I have like a great, great, great cousin, aunt, something, um, named Eliza, right?
Mhm.
I never heard her name spoken. I didn't know anything about her. And when Elijah was born, that's when my great grandmother was like, oh, did you know we had this obscure family member who had a similar name?
You're like, I sure did.
Yeah. And I was like, no, no, I had no idea. But I'm glad
Was
I
this
know
in honor
now.
of this person? Absolutely not.
Right? I'm like, nope, nope. They don't
Can't
even,
say that it was.
yeah. So it was just, it was interesting to see how like, and then we have a family member.
My monitor is filthy, and I noticed, so now I have to clean it.
Okay. We have like
So,
an ancient family member named Americus.
oh,
And
that was not the most uncommon name, actually. That was,
yeah, he came this particular person came to the US um
oh no,
during like the whole Civil War and apparently changed his name to Americus, and
yeah,
because he was an immigrant, like he was drafted and he wasn't really given a choice as to which side he wanted to be on.
yeah. No, apparently that was very common because one of the people who created the town I'm in,
Uh-huh.
Rockford, was named Germanicus Kent.
Oh wow.
Yeah, he was. I assume it translates to German guy, but yeah, his name was Germanicus. So I think that's what it was. Is that to show honor to the place, you would name yourself after the place.
Right. Right.
But also I'd like to point out that even back then, a guy could just name himself Americus and people just called him Americus because when people ask you to call them something, you call them what they fucking asked you to call them.
Right. Right.
Just saying.
Yeah.
Like
That was
even
a
back in the old timey days. I noticed the other day, the people who will not call somebody by their by the name they have chosen for whatever reason are the same people who like have a cousin named Cooter.
Mhm.
And it's like, but his name is Daniel. Yeah, but everybody calls him Cooter. But you won't call this person over here Brian.
Right. Yes.
You've
Yeah.
decided Brian's invalid,
Yeah.
but cousin Cooter's fine. Okay.
Or it's invalid. It's not because you like they're yeah, I think it's dumb. Okay.
If you want me to call you Ava Fox, I will mess up sometimes, but I'm happy to call you Ava Fox.
Right.
You know
Right.
what I
And
mean? Like I don't know why it's my business.
right. And if I asked you to call me Brian, you would call me Brian,
Uh-huh.
And
Yeah.
it's like there are women who run around with like masculine nicknames. I've known plenty of Billies that are, toting
Joe's.
around their own boobs. And so it's like, who gives a shit? Who cares?
Yeah. Just
I
tell
want
somebody what
to,
they asked you to.
yeah, it's like, no, my, like, and I've had people like in comments and stuff, they'll address me as Ava Fox because that's what my books say. My books say Ava
Yeah.
Fox, and I'm like, okay, that's totally cool. If some random person approached me in public, like if a complete stranger approached me in public and started calling me Ava, I'd be like, who the hell are you talking about?
Right.
It's only when I'm in like this universe, or
Right.
if I'm
When
actually
you're in
dealing
your
with,
specific bubble.
yeah. But I'm
That's
like,
you see that with famous people who had to change their names for SAG.
yeah,
Apparently Emma Stone
uh-huh,
does not like she really misses being called Emily. And
yeah,
occasionally people will call her Emily and she gets very excited. And she's like, no, that is my name. That's my
yeah,
name. I am Emily.
yes,
She's
yes,
like, Emma is my stage name, but like my name is Emily.
right, yeah,
And there are a handful of people, especially people who started young, who had to pick their stage name when they were kids,
yeah,
who are like regretful of that now. In
right,
fact, Martin Sheen said a while ago that he wished he had never changed his name
yeah,
because he recognized that it kind of buried his Hispanic origins
right,
and implied that he was ashamed of them.
right. Yeah, because I had no idea that Martin Sheen was Emilio Estevez's father, you
Yeah.
know?
His brother Joe Estevez is an actor too.
Yeah.
Looks just like Martin Sheen, but rough.
So is Charlie Sheen actually Charlie
It's
Estevez?
Carlos Estevez.
Oh,
Yeah.
really?
Yep, his name is Carlos Estevez.
Oh, wow. So I had
Mhm.
no idea.
I
That
have
is
a little bit
nuts.
of a fixation on Charlie Sheen. I have a whole lot of like sadness for him because when he was going through that whole like absolute shit show in
Yeah.
the mid 2000s, I am convinced that is when he found out he had HIV
Yeah.
and that it was him having like basically a nervous breakdown.
Yeah.
And I feel for him. I'm
Right.
never going to not think Adonis blood and uh tiger blood and Adonis DNA is not funny. That's never going to not be funny.
Right.
But I won't make fun of Charlie Sheen.
Yeah.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like he was really going through something and it was a very real human experience. He
Right.
was, he was being told that he had a condition that he will have to treat for the rest of his life and is no longer terminal, but you do have to treat it forever. You cannot cure it,
Right.
you know? So like I feel for him because I think that's what he was going through.
Yeah.
Because it came out
Absolutely.
like a year or two later.
Right.
So I think he knew at that point and that he lost his fucking shit.
Yeah.
And you know what? I would probably lose my fucking shit.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
Like,
Well, and that's why, like, anytime I
that's
make a
life changing.
reference, yeah. Anytime I make a reference, like if I'm like winning, I'm
Yeah.
winning. I'm
Yeah.
not making fun of Charlie
Right.
Sheen. And even though like I didn't have nearly there wasn't millions of people watching my life fall apart, but I have experienced something kind of similar to that
Mhm.
situation. So absolutely. And then and even when
And you
he
didn't
was
have national broadcasters coming to your door asking if they could interview you.
exactly. And it
And
was
paparazzi trying to sneak cameras in your face and shit.
yeah, and it was still very life changing. I mean, it was incredibly life changing. It took me 4 years to finally get back in front of a camera and be like,
Right.
yay, here I am.
Right. And that's without people shoving cameras in your face the whole time.
Yes, yes.
So-
And the whole time that was going on, and then he was the battle with his children and all of this stuff, I felt so like I don't want to say sorry for him, but my heart broke for him because it
Yeah.
was like
Well, and do you know anything about Apocalypse Now? About the
no,
making of Apocalypse Now?
no.
So in Apocalypse Now, there's the scene where Martin Sheen's character has a nervous breakdown.
Hmm.
That is Martin Sheen having a nervous breakdown, and the director just filmed it.
Yeah.
Charlie Sheen was on set with his dad.
Oh wow.
Charlie Sheen was playing with fake skulls. He was exposed to what's his name? Marlon Brando, who at that time was not fucking well.
Right.
Like that experience alone would damage you. And then on top of that, he lived in Hollywood and God only knows what else he saw.
Yeah.
You know, but like
Yeah.
Apocalypse Now alone would ruin most people as a
Right.
child, like if they lived that as a child.
Yeah. Oh,
So
wow.
like I'm not surprised that he has like a really fucking hard time.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yep. And you do. You just like I think I was really surprised. I was really surprised at first, but then the more and more in depth that he opened up and then watching him have a public breakdown, I was like, "Oh my God, this is because
Yeah, and
and part of me is like he is literally screaming out for anyone to help him and and you can't save people have to save themselves but you can.
no, but it's not uncommon for people to engage in unsafe behaviors when they are faced with their death.
Yeah.
So for him to go out and start doing drugs again and have a bender, that's not that weird.
Yeah, yeah. And in my mind, I'm like, and where were his people? Like where were they? They were making money off of interviews and all this other stuff. But
Yeah.
but what do I know? I'm like,
Right.
what do I know? I write smut.
We should fit one more sprint in at least.
Okay.
All right, let's do another 20 and we'll be back after the writing goes. All right, that's time with some beef oven. Yeah,
That's what I was like. Is it a da-da-da-da?
it was beef oven.
I got where was I? 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8,
I got
9.
201. I
Awesome.
have 502 for the day.
I got another 8 that I'm pulling and I'm going
That's
to.
awesome.
Yeah. Yeah.
So are you going through the site that they're on and pulling them, or are you going through your files?
No, I'm pulling them off the site that they're
Okay,
already on.
gotcha, gotcha.
Yeah.
Carrie added
Because
to her outline. Good job, Carrie. Keep working. Work, work, work. And then you got to
awesome.
go to your day job, work, 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 because life is bullshit and socialism, yay.
Yeah. Um
Late stage capitalism's killing us.
like I'm not entirely like well versed with socialism, so I need to learn more before I can say yay.
Yeah. Socialism and fascism are not synonymous, even though the propaganda of World War II would have you believe that.
Yeah. Um oh, so yeah, because I still have the old laptop. Getting it to start is you have to like do a whole thing, and if the
Like a whole
universe
dance and
yeah, and if the universe is in your favor for that moment, it might actually work. So um like all of that stuff is on that, and I've thought about, like, I know you can go and have them like take everything off the hard drive. um I've thought about doing a lot of things, but ultimately it just makes it easier if I just pull it from where it is, and create a new document, and do all of that, and then yeah. So that's what
yeah.
I'm doing. I'm like, you know what? And I might not do all of them today. I might just start with, like, because there's 27 that are published. So I figure maybe if I just take 12 of them down, move them over there, you
Yeah.
know what? Well, that's a good start.
Yeah.
That's a good start. And then there's several of them that I haven't published. So there'll be some new ones over there. Um, like a never before seen. Dun, dun, dun.
Exclusives.
Yeah. Well, and then I was thinking about it. Like, I don't know why every time I start thinking about like all of the things I'm doing in my writer life, like, I'm like, I don't know, man. And then I start thinking about it and I'm like, yeah, there's a lot of stuff. Like, I'm working on a book cover because I'm going to release this short story I wrote a couple years ago for an anthology.
Well, but it's the same thing as like when I'm at my day job, I can't think of what the fuck I have to do, but then I go home and I lay in bed and I'm like, I didn't do this. I didn't do that.
Yeah. Yeah. So we get off the stream and I'm like, oh yeah. Just like
Yeah.
I was having a meeting with Amy, who is getting my website set back up in SEO and all the good stuff. And she's like, do you have anything like up and coming type of things? And I'm like, no, not that I could think of. And as soon as we ended the meeting, I was like, wait a minute, I'm doing audio short
Right.
stories, and I'm like, I'm doing
You're like,
all of
no, I have
these.
a ton of stuff. The fuck
Yeah.
am I talking about?
So I ended up having to write her an email, and I'm like, actually, now that we're
Right.
not face to face anymore, let me tell you all the things I am doing.
For reference, this is totally off topic, but for reference, if you live in a cannabis legal state and you have carpal tunnel, um there is a cannabis lotion that removes a whole bunch of swelling pretty easily, and it is magical. And I highly recommend it. So
Right on.
and there is no, like, you don't get high off of it. Like, you don't have to, I don't think you can test positive for drugs off of it unless they did a blood test and you had put the lotion on that hand and they didn't clean it. Like, if they got the lotion in the test,
Yeah, and
like,
then
I don't think it gets into your bloodstream at all. I Googled it and it seems to not. So
yeah, I'm like, and then of course you would want to question the practices of the
Right,
lab that
right,
collected the specimen and whether or not
right.
you are going to have an absolute crisis because you tested positive for something
Yeah.
disgusting because the lab is junk.
Yeah, Carrie said I need to get that for my mom. I actually brought some to my mom originally, and then my mom uses it now, but she had carpal tunnel so bad that she could only do this. She couldn't make a fist.
Oh
And 10 minutes
wow.
after she put it on, she could make a fist.
Oh wow. That's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah. So and since I know a whole lot of people who watch these streams are at their computers a whole lot, I figured it was worth mentioning because
Absolutely.
it is magical. And
Yeah.
it doesn't have that burning menthol smell that all of the mentholated stuff does. Like you
Yeah.
can buy a mentholated one, but you can buy a non-mentholated one too. So that way there's not mint on my hands. So if I touch my face, it doesn't make my eyes water and shit.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
The only thing I like about that old medicine-y time smell is it reminds me of like my grandparents and stuff. They always smelled like,
oh yeah, cake decorating is incredibly difficult on your hands. So that makes sense that she would and then packing hundreds of dozens of donuts, that makes sense too. Yeah.
you know,
Yeah, because those squeezing the bags, a lot of people get carpal tunnel from breastfeeding because they're holding their breast and the baby,
hmm.
and that pressure on those muscles um causes carpal tunnel too.
Oh wow.
So like there are a lot of places. It's just basically any repetitive movements.
That's what I
Um,
always worry. I like when I watch my lady do my nails for me, I
oh,
always
she'll get
worry.
carpal tunnel.
Yeah, like I'm always worried that one
Hairdressers,
day,
nail techs.
yeah, she's gonna be like, I'm retiring because I can't use my hands anymore. And I'm just like, I'm sorry.
Yeah, and you can tell with a lot of people when it's getting bad because their knuckles will get knobby
Yeah.
because the
Okay.
knuckles are so swollen.
Right.
Because that's the part that does all the work.
Yeah. Well, her hands
Um,
are still very not knobby, so
yeah,
I've got
yeah,
time.
and I mean it takes time for the problem, and the more you focus early on exercising and stuff, the less damage it does.
Right.
But I think everybody just thinks it's not going to be I'm not going to have that problem or that's so far down the road. Which is
Right.
what I did with typing. I was like,
Right.
well, sure, but like, that's so far down the road.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, it's not that far down the road. You know what I mean? Like when I was 20, I thought I was never going to be fucking 40,
Right.
but you're going to be 40.
Right. Here we
Like,
are.
hopefully, you're going to be
Yeah.
40. The
Yeah.
alternative sucks.
That yeah. This is true.
So like, hopefully, you will get to the point where it could hurt. So treat them good now.
I that's like every morning, like I get all kinds of people and you're like, good morning, good morning, good morning. And they're like, is it really? And I'm like, well, you're standing here. Or they'll tell me I'm alive, and I'm like, yeah, that's a luxury not afforded to a lot of people.
I tell people all the time that beats the alternative.
Yeah. Yep.
There's it's an on or off switch, really.
Yeah.
So you're
And
either
they're
alive or you're not.
right. And they're like, I get so many people who are always like, it's 4 o'clock in the morning and you're just miss optimistic. And I'm like, well, it's 4 o'clock in the morning and I'm awake. So I have no
Right.
choice. I have to find something.
Right. And I still have to make it a few more hours.
Yeah.
So I don't have time to be grumpy yet.
Yeah, that's right. Oh my goodness. If I was the grumpy one and they were coming into me and I was the grumpy one, I set the mood for people's days. Like that first
Yeah.
initial interaction sets the mood for the rest of the day. And so
Yeah.
I always try to be like, "Hey, how are ya?"
Carrie said her dad had a friend who owned a funeral parlor and said every day above ground is a good day.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah.
That's just keep trucking. Although some days, man, I have bipolar, so some days I don't necessarily feel like that. Let's be honest.
Yeah, well, you're not allowed to
But
quit. So,
most of the time I'm aware.
yeah.
So
I think,
here's the thing. We have like 15 minutes left of our normal window. Do you want to do another 20-minute sprint and then just wrap real fast? Because we did fuck around for a long time.
yeah, we can do that.
Okay.
Okay,
So we're
we
gonna
can
go a
do it.
little bit long. We're gonna do one more 20-minute sprint and then we'll wrap. Um, but yes, I highly recommend make sure that it gets that you have the CBD and the THC because I believe they work together. Um, but I've not found everyone I know who lives in a cannabis legal state has had this available at their dispensaries. So that
Really?
is actually why I wanted it to go legal here, is because I have bad knees.
Mm-hmm.
I've had 2 surgeries on one of my knees. So um it is a godsend. It really
Yeah.
is. Yeah, it's so good. I think I'm gonna buy my mom a thing of it uh pretty soon here again because she just had a knee replacement too.
Yeah.
Yeah, then she's going to Jamaica. My grandma's taking her. My dad's mom is taking her to
Uh-huh.
Jamaica because my dad's mom, that side of my family, I have money. So she usually just gets herself a double room so that she doesn't have a roommate when she goes.
Yeah.
But with my dad passing, she was like, "Do you want to just take the other bed?" To my mom.
Oh, that's nice. That's really nice.
So my mom just had to have her passport and stuff,
Yeah.
and her own spending money or whatever. But it's an all inclusive because it's a sandals, so
Right.
it's all inclusive and there's no kids,
Yeah.
which are the two big concerns I would have for her being because of her knee.
Right, right, right.
Like I'm worried about some kid taking her out. Not about
No.
like
Yeah,
kids
no,
being
I
annoying. I'm
right,
worried about some
no.
kid racing by her and taking her out.
Right, right,
And
right.
my
No.
grandma's 96, 97. I don't know
Oh,
how old's Tom
wow.
Lehrer. My grandma is a couple months older than Tom Lehrer.
Oh, wow.
Uh, 96, yep.
Yeah. See, if I'm 96 and still wanting to go on freaking cruises and stuff and traveling and
Oh,
whatnot, I'm gonna be golden.
I promise you, if there was something you wanted to do, my grandma could do it longer.
Oh, wow.
I promise.
Yeah,
She might need to take a break because
right.
she also has had a knee replacement. Hers is a little older. Um, yeah, she is. Yeah, she's all over the place. She's my grandma travels more than anyone else I know, and my boss is an attorney who loves to travel.
That's incredible.
But also, my grandma's income makes my bosses look like nothing. So
Fair.
at least I'm assuming I'm not in my grandma's finance. I am in my boss's finances. I do. I talk to the accountant all the time.
Right. You're like, okay, I just had to pay for the dogs to get groomed, so
Well, she does give me the cards and stuff, but I write all the checks for the office.
right, right,
For like
right.
all the operating account stuff, so I know how the office funds are,
Yeah, yeah.
which is not the same as knowing some's personal funds, but I have
I
an
get
idea
it.
of what comes and goes.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And my boss doesn't take all inclusive trips usually. She usually takes trips where she pays. So she probably does pay more ultimately
Yeah.
because she has to buy stuff while she's there.
Right.
And my grandma does not typically buy stuff while she's there.
Right, right.
So,
Except for
all
like
right.
souvenirs or stuff like that.
Yeah, and I don't know that she does that much anymore because she's been to all these places so many times. So
Fair.
like, like how many tchotchkes from Jamaica do you need?
All of them.
Well, but you might have all of them after,
That's
let's
true.
see. The last time I went was 2004 and she has gone every 2 years at least since then.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I stopped going when she stopped paying for it. Not because I think I am owed it, but because I literally could not.
Right. Yeah.
Like it's not an entitlement problem, it's a money problem. But and
Yeah.
and obviously I don't expect someone to take me to fucking Jamaica.
Right.
Like, I don't expect that.
Right.
But yeah, okay. You know what? Let's do a 15.
Okay.
All right, we're gonna do a 15. In three,
Yeah.
2, 1, go. Sorry, I'm trying to make us actually work instead of just fucking around.
But we really do like fucking around.
I love it. Getting down with our bad selves. Hello, everybody. How's everyone doing? We made it through another sprint.
Yes, we
I didn't
did.
get much done. Oh,
Uh,
it's not bad. I got like 200 and something.
Add that to your what, 300? So you're at your 500 mark.
Oh yeah, I'm over mine. Yeah, I'm over my for the day. I needed 4. I'm still at 4. Or no, I'm still at 3. Start 4 next week. Um and I got 609.
Awesome. Awesome, awesome. Well, I'm at number 11 and I think that that's a good stopping point because now I have to like send them all over.
Right.
Um, but I like to listen to them first just to kind of get that little last doing
Right, one
sound.
last run through since you're gonna put them out there. I may
Yeah,
as well give them a second set of eyeballs.
right. One last run through to make sure that my bathroom stalls meet the
Meet
exact
sexual needs of
requirements.
your
Readers.
yeah, you start out with the bathroom stall measures 4 feet by 6 feet.
Yeah.
I am writing some sort of dark fantasy thing-ish thing. Usually I write horror. I don't know for sure where this is going. Dana typically writes erotica under Ava Fox.
Yeah.
You broke your hand. How'd you break your hand?
Hitting something.
I hope not. Although usually you do have to kind of smack something pretty hard with your hand to break your hand, but
This
there are
this
other
is
ways.
this is true. This is very true.
Basketball.
Oh,
Oh, you do not have a basketball game tomorrow. Cannot play basketball with a broken hand. I would assume you're done playing for a minute.
yeah. Yeah.
Oh Lord.
That sucks. I hope it's not your writing hand because like I always joke around and I'm like, "Oh yeah, you if I lose a hand, I want it to be my right hand." Um but I actually rely on my right hand quite a bit.
Yeah,
Hmm.
it is.
Oh, that
That is
sucks.
that is a bucket of dumb. I am
Yeah.
very sorry. Unfortunately, we are also wrapping for the day. I am gonna raid out on Twitch. So if you're on Twitch, I will raid you guys out to someone else. Let's do some quick outros and then we're gonna raid out.
All right, awesome. I am Dana Gollin. I write spicy stuff under my pen name, Ava Fox 301. I got a lot of good stuff coming up. My website's going to be live again, and I've got an anthology coming out on the 14th. So, yeah.
I am right-handed in a handful of things and left-handed in most others. So that's the thing. But
Yeah.
yeah, so I am Sarah Sharnover. I do mostly horror. I also play video games over here on Thursday and Friday nights. I may play some video games this week because this weekend because I skipped Thursday because I was ill. But we're gonna go ahead and raid out. Dana's channel is going to say
Happy
goodbye.
rating.
We will see you guys all next week. Same bat time, same bat channel. The raids always take a while. There we
I
go.
was going to say, happy rating, everybody.